I know you've been wondering where I've been. See, what happened was I really missed you guys. I have been gone for a while, almost 4 years to be exact. And throughout those 4 years, I was like, I should really get back into my YouTube vlogging and all those things. And so I decided now's the time, because it's been too long, but also because Sage is now 4 and he's my only kid, so I can't really say, but so far these are definitely my favorite years. The toddler years, where he can talk, we can engage, he understands me, he's still very young, so he says the darndest things, and he's now a lot of fun, so I feel like it's a good time to pick this back up. So I'm back. Thanks for the warm welcome. But I did put out a feeler to my Instagram to see what kind of questions some of my friends and family would be interested in seeing or learning about in my little hiatus. So I'm gonna go over some of that, and it's almost Christmas Eve, so I have a lot of presents to wrap, because I have small windows of time that I can. In fact, Sage will probably be back home in like an hour or so, so I'm gonna do some wrapping while we chit chat and I answer a few of those questions. And Mama's got a glass of wine, because why not? Cheers. So, first question, where the heck have I been? As you can see, I'm still in the same apartment. I'm still in New York City. Gonna be moving soon, but I have been up to a lot. It's been a long time, lots to catch up on, and we probably won't cover everything. But around the last time that I was on YouTube was like just before COVID. Sage was turning 1 during COVID, actually, because yeah, we had a virtual party and everything. It was, what a time to be alive. But Sage was turning 1 during COVID, so that happened. That happened to all of us. We were there. That was a rough time. And during COVID is when my son's father and I split. I decided to part ways for many reasons, and I'm very satisfied with my decision. Obviously, it's a lot harder, and I never wanted to sign up to be a statistic or a single mom, because it is really hard, and I wouldn't ever like sign up for that if I didn't have to. But for my mental health, for my peace, for my sanity, for ensuring that Sage has a healthy, happy, non-toxic home environment, it was the best decision for my life. So that happened. So now I'm a single mom in New York, just winging it, figuring it out. It's a lot of fun. It's exhausting. It is a huge learning curve. It's a new experience. It's exhilarating, it's gratifying, it's frightening, it's all those things. So yeah. And during COVID, I also, excuse me, whew. During COVID, I also was furloughed from work, which means that like you're on pause, and whenever the world decides to open up again, we will reopen, and then you come back to work. And so because I was in New York, I was alone, my family's not here, I'm like, who knows how long that'll be. So Sage and I went to California for like 6 months during COVID. And that was a really good time for me. Not only was I not working and I had freedom to do almost anything, you know, wherever was open, kind of permitting a lot of that, but still having the freedom to like just be home, be with family, relax, do whatever you want. Sure, the world was locked down and it was limited what we could do, but besides the illness and all the deaths and like everything locking down, COVID was not a bad time for me. In fact, I would sign up for that for a few more months again. I was not mad at that little break. But eventually I had to come back to New York. My job was there, as was my life. And so I had to come back, and I was back. And what else did I do during COVID? Oh, I got an eyebrow transplant while I was away, guys, which I've talked about a lot on my every platform, or everyone that asks, they're like, oh my gosh, you have great eyebrows. And I'm like, great, thank you. I bought them. I didn't grow them. And people are so fascinated when I tell them. But I went to Miami. First of all, let me tell you about how I found out that this was even possible. I forever have always been a girl who filled in my eyebrows like for over a decade. That was, you know, every woman, most women have that one thing that they never leave the house with, whether it's lip gloss, mascara, whatever. For me, it was eyebrows. Like, my face always felt incomplete without eyebrows. If you know, you know. I guess I should get to some of the wrapping. Where do I start? I'm acting like I have all the time tonight, but I don't. So I was browsing on YouTube, and I came across a video of Megan Good, the actress, who, I think she was on Ellen, the Ellen show, and she was talking about how she got you know, for many, many years, she's had issues with her eyebrows, and we've all witnessed it. She went from like the pencil thin ones to the microblading ones, and obviously she's gorgeous, but something was always off about the brows. Anyway, she went to a doctor who does eyebrow transplants. So once I found out that that was a thing, I was like, down the rabbit hole. I'm like, I need to find somebody to do this immediately. I don't care what it costs. This is something I need. And so I went and did all the research, and I found a doctor in Miami who specializes in hair restoration. So he does brows, and you can even do eyelash transplants and beard, facial hair, you name it. That's like his forte. And I liked his aesthetic and the fact that he does all these like courses and things for other people. He's like a master in that kind of craft. So I booked a consultation remotely, and he was like, okay, you're a candidate. Come to Miami. And this was all during COVID too, by the way. Come to Miami and we'll do we'll do your brows. And so I went to Miami. And I got there, and he tried to talk me out of it, honestly. He was like, your hair is curly. I don't know if it's going to look right. I was like, I'm here. Give me eyebrows. I'm not leaving without them. And I'm so glad I did. I'm not usually one to go against my doctor's recommendation, but in this case, there was no going back. And so I was able to draw the shape that I like and all that. And I did the procedure. I was awake for it. I was there for a day, and I came back the following day. And I had eyebrows, and you know, maybe I'll make a story about, because I have some videos short videos of it happening and whatever. So maybe I'll make another video at another date about that process, because I always love sharing it because it's so fascinating to me. They extract the hair from the nape of your head, like scalp you, and you have an incision in the back of your head, but the hair grows back. They take the follicles from the back of your head, and then they implant them into your face, and then they grow like natural. You never have to have them replaced. You never have to. Only thing I have to do is trim them pretty frequently because they grow at the same speed as the hair on the back of your head. So I have to trim them like once, sometimes twice a week. But I will take that any day over having to refill them again like I used to. I'm very happy with them. I'm glad I did it. Like, best money ever spent. So I had my first cosmetic procedure, and that was my eyebrows, and I'm so glad I did. And now I feel like my face is how it should look. This is how my face was supposed to be, you know, because I was like tweezing and doing all that for years. I've never had really full eyebrows, honestly, but it was always like my thing that I felt was missing from my face. So I was really happy with that. So that happened in COVID. Where else have I been? Once work was opening again, I had to transition back into working, and this time without the other parent, which was a whole challenge on its own. Like, New York, and I think most states are, I mean, I don't know if all states are like this, but New York is just not, they have programs and things that help, but they are not mindful of like parents, or especially single parents. Like everything from the hours that they expect you to work, they don't give any accommodations for scheduling for parents or single parents. Like, it's really crazy. Anyway, I was looking for a childcare, having to go back to the workforce, and this all happened really quickly. So I was stressed and trying to find someone. It's hard to find someone to look after your kid, and especially when you don't have family, you don't have, you know, people that you know. A lot of your friends are childless. So I was back, and I was like, you know, on my own, literally. It was just me and Sage. And I was much happier from a mental standpoint, just being out of like the drama. But it is highly stressful. Finding daycare, doing it by yourself, all in New York. It's hard anywhere, but especially in New York. Like, I remember having a truck, that big giant heavy stroller with Sage in it, up all those flights of stairs on the subway and in and out of Ubers and even at the airport and all these things. It's very hard. One gift wrapped. See, I'm being productive. It's really hard. And if I had a crystal ball, I would have definitely started that daycare search a lot sooner. Or I would have enlisted family members if I had that option as early as I could have, to take that stress away. And so yeah, and same goes with school. I'm in the phase now that I have to find schools for Sage, and you know, I'm gonna make a whole other story and video about that, because that's a whole process too, which I'm sure if you are in the same boat, you are familiar with. It's tedious. But anyway, so let me go down the questions. That some people on my Instagram, friends and family, have added or asked me to answer, which I'm so flattered. Thank you guys for taking the time to do that. Like, most people could have been like, who cares? Nobody noticed you were gone. But the first one was, let me see. What's the hardest thing that's happened to you, or would you say, in becoming a mom? Well, how much time do I have? For me, the hardest thing, I'll say there's many different hard things, but for me, early on when I first had Sage, the hardest thing was accepting that I chose my happiness to be able to give Sage the best life, and his happiness ultimately, at the expense of like him being in a single parent home, and like not fighting harder, which I pretty much did, to work things out, or tolerating all of that for the sake of keeping the family together. Like, that is very challenging for me to accept, because, you know, it almost feels like a failure. Like, and it's not my fault. You know, I have fault in it too, but like, it's not, ultimately I had to choose my peace and sanity, and I'm like, should I have stuck it out, suffered, and all those things? So sometimes I deal with like some kind of regret about, like, not regret, but like, did I make the right decision? So accepting that and not being so hard on myself is really hard. And reminding myself that, like, it's not, you know, in order for me to keep my child happy, I have to be happy. So that is, you know, how I justify that. But yeah, that is what I struggled with earlier on. And I would say now, the hardest thing is when you have or when I have moments where I'm like frustrated, impatient, I lash out, or I get upset with Sage, or angry or upset, where I react. It's hard for me to remember that, like, you know, those little things are contributing to his development. And like, have I really worked out all of my issues, you know, to give him the best upbringing and the best version of me? So that's hard for me. I mean, that is psychologically the challenging part for me, but physically it's all hard. I mean, all of it. It's exhausting. Finding the time for yourself is hard. Getting the energy when you don't feel like it is hard. Having to put on a smile when you're going through stuff for the sake of your kid. Like, having to just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, that's hard when you don't have a kid, but it's really hard when you have to, like, show face and just pull yourself together when you don't feel like it. And somebody's relying on you to do that. That's really hard. So, yeah. Next question. What's your favorite thing about being a mom and why? My favorite thing about being a mom, well, for sure, getting to raise a whole other human is amazing. And milestones, those for me are really, witnessing his milestones for me are like definitely the bright spots, I'll say. And some of them may seem so small, but for me, those feel so good and make it all worth it. Make all the hard times, all the tears, all the blood, sweat, and tears, it makes it all worth it when you see them evolving, you see them growing. Or when I see Sage being empathetic and kind, that really makes me so happy inside. Like, okay, I'm not raising a serial killer. Like, that for me is really gratifying. The best part about being a mom. Or just, you know, you always have someone that loves you no matter what. And, you know, someone that shows you a lot of love and that you can always show a lot of love to. It gives your life purpose, really. Because I feel like I was just kind of floating by for many years. And honestly, I didn't see myself as a mom. I was always going to be the drunk auntie. That was my job. I'm still the drunk auntie. Number 2. But, yeah, I mean, it's fulfilled my life in ways I can never even explain. Let me get another gift. Side note, I had a lot of gifts sent to my job because there's a theft problem in this building. And by it going to my job, I know it's gonna get there. So then I have to lug a lot of this stuff uptown. And I also didn't want to have it come home and then have to hide it from Sage. Like, my mom sent him a gift. My mom sent him a gift, and it wasn't even a few hours of it arriving before Sage got into it. I thought I hid it, but clearly I didn't hide it well enough. But, yeah. One roll down. Let me see if I have enough paper to wrap this one. Yep, great. What's another question? When did you get a cat? What's he like? Oh, by the way, I got a cat. I think last time I was shooting, I had Checkers, my dog, who I've had since I was... Checkers is still alive and kicking too, by the way. He's like 15 now. He's with my mom. He was getting older and he couldn't get up the stairs, and it got really hard to carry both Sage and Checkers up the stairs. So he's with my mom in California, living his best life, cared for, eating good, has space to roam. He's with my mom's other dogs. He's really happy, but he's old. He's about to kick the bucket soon, y'all. Checkers. Anyway, I got a cat that I did not sign up for. I'll tell you guys that story another time, but yeah, I got the cat from a friend because during COVID, and I live at the like top floor of the building, and I'd never ever had a mice problem, but I saw a mouse one day, and I called the management company, and they're lousy like most of the ones in New York, and they didn't do anything about it. So I called my friend like, hey, can I borrow your cat? He's like, yeah. And then never came back to get the cat, so I've been stuck with it ever since. So I love the cat. I love him. But we'll talk about that another day. It's bittersweet. Another question was, let me see. Are you dating? What is your dating life like now as a mom? I plead the fifth. No, I have been dating. I'm not dating anyone right now, but I got options. No, I'm not dating anyone. Literally, I have no time, no space. I am somebody that just likes to be free, and I'm a free spirit, and I like to be I'm somebody that's pretty happy alone, and I also don't really have time to even think about it because I'm so busy with my son. And also, like, I don't want to just bring anybody around my kid. So dating is hard. Not so much because not because like there are people that I want to date who were like, oh, you have a kid. Like, I'm sure there are people out there like that, but I haven't come across any, and I don't see it being an issue. Because if that is someone that doesn't want to date me because I have a kid, like, that's just not someone for me, and that's fine. Because I have requirements too. So, not with kids, just in general, like dating. Like, I'm very much no nonsense. Like, I know my worth, and I'm definitely not one to settle. And I can easily date if I wanted to. I don't have a problem there. I just don't really have interest in doing that. But, finding the time is challenging, more so, I would say. It's a combination of lack of interest, lack of time, lack of eligible candidates. Dating in New York is impossible. And also, yeah, I'm just not, it's just, I'd say it's non-existent, but I have people I can call if I wanted to. No one exciting or interesting, because I just can't devote the time that is required to like form a proper relationship. Number 3. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the questions for now. I'm going to continue wrapping gifts, and thank you for watching. If you stuck around this long, I'm going to be back at it. I am back at it, and I would love for you to come along with me, engage, let me know you're here. Nothing's worse than a party that no one's at. So be here with me, leave a comment, like, share, let's stay in touch. You know, my last few videos were kind of testing it out, putting the feeler out, and I feel now like I'm more in my groove. I want to share my journey. I'm an open book, so ask me anything. But you know, it's gonna be a lot of content with me and Sage, our life in New York, good and bad days as a single mom, and anything that's going on in my life that might be interesting or not interesting, and you know, discussions that we might want to have, topics to address. Like, it's still finding its way. But welcome to my life and welcome to my channel, and I hope you stay, and thanks for watching. Bye.